good evening, Abuja. Welcome to ASO Radio 93.5 FM, the station on the rock. It's a lovely Friday, and we're really excited to be bringing to you the Friday's edition of the ASO Radio's talk show, School of Marriage. Hope you're doing well and hope your marriage is doing well as well. We're so glad to be here with you. Hopefully today we're going to learn one thing or one or more things, that can help us improve our marital experience. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned and enjoy. My name is Emmanuel Oricha, and today I'm not in the studio alone. I'm with my co-host, my best friend, the love of my life.
Emmanuel Oricha is my name, and it's so good to be in the studio here with you, Gloria. We are in here because you are out there. Thank you for tuning in to this radio station. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. I've set it.
All right, welcome back. This is ASO Radio 93.5 FM, the station on the rock, and it's your darling program, School of Marriage. School of Marriage is a program dedicated to your marriage, to see that you have a fantastic marriage, a fulfilling marriage, a joyful experience in your marriage. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is a gift from God. Marriage is something that we should value and we should be excited about. I know today many people don't really see reason with what I've just said marriage is all about because of what they have seen and what some have experienced and all that. But the truth is that whatever you're experiencing in your marriage that is not in alignment with what I just said, you can actually have those things I pinpoint that marriage is all about. It just takes you making deliberate efforts, making the choice, deciding that you're going to have a working marriage, you're going to have a successful marriage. you're going to have a marriage that you've always dreamt of having. You just have to be intentional about it. You just have to put in the effort. You have to put in the work needed, because good marriages don't just happen. I know you see good marriages everywhere you go sometimes, but then it doesn't just happen. People make them happen. Those people make them happen. They didn't just wish it and then it became. They worked at it. They were deliberate. They were putting in all the efforts they can put in to make it work. And so that's why we're here to tell you and also let you know that by the time you make effort to put in those little things that you need to put in your marriage can also be beautiful and a successful one at that. So have an open heart and have a willing heart to be ready to make the sacrifices, put in the effort that can enable you enjoy a fulfilling marital experience.
Yeah, I want to begin from the word deliberate. You need to make deliberate efforts in order to have a successful marriage. It doesn't just happen. Some people think love is all that matters. Yes, love is all that matters, but it matters with some other key ingredients, and making efforts in making sure that your marriage is a success is also important. You don't just think that it's just love, that the feeling of love that will keep you strong together forever. No, because there will be storms of life. There will be highs moments, there will be low moments, and your love will be tested. So it takes some commitment, it takes some efforts, and sometimes people have different expectations when entering into marriage. They have expectations of their loved one, they have expectation of how the marriage would be, and some of these expectations are communicated, and unfortunately majority do not even talk about their expectations before marriage. And once they get into marriage, they face reality, and it's now difficult to make adjustments because you never
prepared the person.
You never communicated with the person what your expectations are. The person never prepared his mind or her mind, and now you're already into marriage, so your negotiation power is not as much as low. It was before you say I do, So today we'll be talking about expectations versus reality in marriage.
Wow.
Expectations versus reality in marriage.
Yeah, expectation versus reality in marriage. Today there is a lot of expectation out there. People say, oh, I expect him to do this, I expect her to do this. Many marriages have broken up as a result of unsaid expectations or unfulfilled expectations. People just assume that, when I get married, this is going to happen, I'm going to experience this, I'm going to see this. And by the time they now enter into the marriage, they are now seeing something totally different, or not even close to what they actually envisage marriage to be. Just like my husband said, it's important for you to air out your view. Don't just when you're dating, don't just talk about casual things and all those things. Also air your expectations, and so that the person in question will be able to assess your expectation and know if they can fit in or not. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't really talk about their expectation. They just go with the flow of the present, and then they get into the marriage, they are expecting so much, and when the other partner is not able to fulfill those expectations, troubles begin to arise in the marriage. They begin to feel this sense of unfulfillment. They feel, I had made a mistake. If I had married someone else, maybe I would have been enjoying this, or but it doesn't really work that way. Sometimes there is different expectation, and then there is the reality of life. So we have to wake up to reality of life, especially the present day, for you to be able to enjoy your marriage. Don't live in a marriage where you're just expecting, and then your expectations expectations that might not even be easily fulfilled by your spouse. In that way, you'll be putting a lot of pressure on your husband or on your wife, and also on the marriage. So that's why we thought of talking about it today. So we're going to be mentioning some expectations, that when expectation comes, where does this expectation come from? And then we'll be talking about some common expectations that people have, and then we'll also be talking about why reality feels so hard. All right, we'll start first of all by mentioning some where some of these expectations come from, because people have expectation can come from different things that people have experienced or seen. When they see something, they tend to build up an expectation, a reality in quote, or a supposed situation in quote. And one of the areas where that comes from is from cultural our culture. Sometimes cultural expectation. What does the culture expect? Today people, it is said that there is the role a man is supposed to play, a role a woman is supposed to play, different things that the culture define how marriage should be. So sometimes some people get their expectation. So for instance, maybe you have a situation where you're doing well, you're working, and you're earning money, and maybe for a period of time your husband is not earning as much as you are. You just feel like, oh, the man is supposed to bear all the burden of the family, and because you feel the culture says the man is supposed to bear all the burden of the family, you don't even want to help out at all, even when you have the means, the resources to be able to help your husband, to be able to help your home, and then you just feel, no, it's not my duty. That's not what I as a woman is supposed to do. And it can be the other way around. Maybe the man is at home, and the woman, he expects the woman to care for the children, dress them up, take them to school, prepare food for them, and maybe this woman has to go to work. The man might just feel, oh no, I'm not supposed to help the children to prepare, because that's not my role. That's not what I'm supposed to do as a man of this house. Sometimes people grow up with those expectations, those things that culture demand of us, and they begin to make such expectation even before they get into their marriage, or even while they are in the marriage. And when you begin to have situations like this, it's kind of bring issues in the home at the end of the day.
Yeah, so our cultures are different, our backgrounds are different, and for those who are married from different cultures, you have a whole lot to learn. There are some cultures that the men are, should I say, almost forbidden to enter the kitchen.
Yeah.
And if a man grows up in that culture, and a woman grew up in an environment where she saw her father helping her mom in kitchen, she would feel the man does not love her if he would not enter the kitchen to help her, cook. And there could be some shock. Imagine your in-laws entering the house as a woman at the time your husband is in the kitchen cooking. There will be questions, what did you give him to eat? Or what did you give him to drink? Now he has become woman rapper. Now you use remote control to control him. That they enter the house and they see the man rocking the baby to sleep. And maybe you are lying down after a hard day's work. Maybe the man came back home and decided to help you, rock the baby sleep, knowing that later in the night you may be the one to wake up to breastfeed the baby, and he wants you to have some rest. Now, some people will find it forbidding coming home to see the man singing and rocking the baby to sleep. So you need to communicate, as two individuals before you get married. If we have this scenario, what are you going to do? Okay, this is what I expect you to do. Build different scenarios while dating. Today still wondered together with my wife that what exactly do people do when they are dating or in courtship, and because this is the period where you have to talk about all these expectations, your background, what you think the man ought to do, the woman ought to do, you know. And we also laughed at ourselves because my wife had some expectation. Thank God I was real, and some people may think I may be that man, but it was real to say, no, don't expect that of me. She thought that by the time we married, her husband would be the one that would just wake up with breakfast, on the bed. And I said, thank God for that. That's for the novels, but for me, original African man, don't expect that from me. And there's nothing wrong. It's not as if I've never done that. I think I must have. But don't think that will be the norm for me as a person. There may be another man out there who it will be natural for him. He doesn't mind waking up every morning, to cook
and serve her
and serve you in bed. But serving you in bed, does it mean you won't do your early morning hygiene practice? Won't you brush your teeth?
Not everyone brush before they eat, so it doesn't.
That's unhygienic. So for me, I may not do breakfast on bed, But what works for you works for you, So, but the key point is, if you are yet to get married, please discuss these things. And if you are married, please discuss with your spouse. Don't just keep it in your heart and keep expecting him or her to do what you think he or she should do. And I think a key is to be flexible. To be flexible. You may not have it 100% of the time, but be flexible and communicate.
All right. Another place where expectation come from is from the movies. You said it, or novels. Social medias, novel. Sometimes these people present things that are not real. They present realities that are not true. They present things that are not reality. They are not true. They present this perfect scenario, perfect husband, a perfect wife, everything just going on smoothly, happily ever after, like the romantic movies that we watch or novels that we read. You see things like that, and you see people coming up with such expectation, especially when people watch movies that just portrays how a husband is supposed to behave, how romantic, how a wife is supposed to behave, how different scenarios that they portray that are really not realistic. And sometimes those things can be very unrealistic, like almost difficult to achieve. And then you have people who have this mindset, and they are not even working on themselves to do the parts that talks about the role that the other person plays, but they are just expecting the other person to play the role that they see on them. So that's another thing that we need to really watch out for those who are married and those who are yet to marry. Don't expect so much. Don't build your home based on what you see on social media or based on what you see in movies, in novels. Sometimes those things are not true. These are just fictions. They are not reality. So don't pressure yourself or pressure your spouse, or put pressure on your marriage to achieve those things that are not achievable, in quotes.
Yeah, so you need to wake up to reality. There are movies where you see a gentleman coming back home from work and coming with a rose flower, and the woman will so appreciate it and would even start having tears flowing down her eyes, tears of love, and so I feel so loved. But you have to understand the environment you are in. If you are married to an African woman who is at home waiting for you to come with money for dinner, she's been waiting all day, and all you have is flour that you cut on the way coming.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know what she will do to you with that flour.
Let's not say what she will do.
So not every African woman. I say if you are married to someone like this that is at home and expecting money, before the bullets start shooting, because I know that we also have hardworking African women. But in my own opinion, and everyone has right to their own opinion, uh, rose flower may work for some people outside here, but it may not work for some other people, and know what works. And
Yeah.
don't let the movies deceive you. And social media, I want to add a voice to that too, has really been a distraction to many marriages couples. You have people that are out there showcasing an ideal situation, which they just recorded for content's sake.
Yeah.
That may not be their
Reality.
ideal situation, reality 24/7, and you think that that is what ought to be 24/7, and you start feeling bad with your spouse, that your spouse is not behaving like that influencer's spouse, and so maybe your marriage is not meant to be, and etc. etc. Let's just put it out there. Even for us, we are still working on our marriage. We're still learning. We're not perfect. So I think it would be a disservice to humanity and to you if anyone puts out a perfect picture and feels if you don't have this perfect picture, then your marriage is not worth being in. It's for you to know what works for your own marriage. I've told you that in as much as it's a good romantic idea to prepare breakfast and bring every day to my wife on bed, wake her up, that's not me.
And carry me. Only I have another expectation. Yes. Expectation of, just carry me,
from the
sitting room to the room. I don't have to walk,
And I was like, thank God that's not what it is, that's not me. That could work for some other people. Every day, that's your routine.
Was part of my expectation, but you see, I'm not getting that expectation.
That's for the romantic movies you watched, and anytime you want that feeling, please watch another movie and sleep off while watching it with you. But we're different. Let's just be real, And I think being real help people a lot, in as much as you may look at us and think that, we have it all working out, I'm meeting up to her expectation, she's meeting up to my expectation. It's not always like that, but you have to give room for each other's fault and give room for people to build up. It doesn't mean that I want to do that once in a while, but that's not my daily routine. So if one day I do that and maybe one of our children should film us and put online, social don't media, think that is me every day. No. So that's just what I want you to understand, that what you see on social media may not be what happens every day with that couple. No matter the couple you are following. I know there are many influencers on social media that show how their marriage is. Thank God for that, but just know that may not be the norm 24/7. There may be times that they have to argue, they have to quarrel, they have to feel disappointed with each other, but they will not come and put that on social media. So that the fact that you and your spouse disagreed or quarrel does not mean that you are not meant to be. So please, it takes deliberate effort, deliberate work. Another source of expectations, in marriage is unspoken assumption. We talk about you communicating, talking, even before you get married. And once you're in marriage, keep talking. Don't just assume that you assume your husband will do something, you assume your wife will do something, and you didn't talk about it. And so because you assume he will do something, you keep expecting it, and it doesn't come, and you feel disappointed, you feel heartbroken. You need to face reality. Your husband or wife may not be able to decode your mind.
Because they are not spirits. They're not angels.
So sometimes you have to verbalize, even for the angels and the spirits. Sometimes you need to talk.
Make your request.
Because they are not in you. It's the spirit in you that knows what you. So the spirit outside of you may not know what you are thinking in you until you verbalize it. So even if your spouse is an angel, a spirit, you may need to verbalize your expectation. Don't just assume that because he's a perfect gentleman, he will do this and he will do that, and he ends up not doing it, and you feel disappointed, or you feel she's a well-groomed young lady, and since she's my wife, she ought to know that she is supposed to do this.
Mm.
And so if she didn't do it, that means she's irresponsible or she doesn't love me. No, you need to talk with each other. Don't just live your lives on assumption. Don't just live your marriage on assumption. Please talk with one another.
Yeah, talk with one another, talk about things, and don't just leave people to assume. Because the truth is that when you even leave people to assume, they might assume wrong. They might assume something totally different from what you are even wanting them to assume. So it's important you verbalize. That's why we say communication is very, very key in any marriage. Another source of expectation comes from the family background. What do you see when growing up, when you're in your own setting, your parents, how did they behave? This can also influence or create an expectation in you. So when you see things, it depends whether it's an ideal or not ideal, but you just see things going on. You see how maybe your mom behaves, or maybe how your dad behaves. For people who whose spouses, maybe when their mom wants to serve their dad, they kneel down. That's one of my that was one of my husband's expectations. So he expected that I would be, so see, we are confessing our expectations that we are not able to fulfill. So he was expecting that every time I want to serve him meal, I will kneel down and serve him. Because on our wedding day, when they asked us to feed the groom, to feed each other, when I wanted to feed him, I knelt down and fed him. So I was thinking it's just the normal, it's the normal way, brides serve their husbands. So I was wondering why
acting comes in. Because I have served as MC for weddings, and the instruction is, let's see how the bride will be serving the groom, in marriage. Let's see how she will be serving him. That's the instruction, and you see her take the cake kneel and down, the wine, go
good girl,
kneel down, clean the face, and then
that's what has been now. Even before we got married, that's what couples do during wedding ceremony. So we just assume it's part of the ceremony.
So you are telling the whole world that this is how I will be serving my husband.
Oh my goodness.
Behold, I got home.
See
and
now.
My food was just served on the table without a kneeling down, without the cleaning of the face.
Are you not even happy you were served? Some people, they will tell them, go to the kitchen to go collect your...
So my own case is still better. But you see, don't let all those acting in wedding ceremonies deceive you. Talk about it, and for the man, just know that it's part of the acting, and enjoy that moment.
That
when
moment,
she
just
down, she cleans your face, cleans your mouth,
those things.
The hand, peck you and feed
but
you.
There are couples who do that actually. Like what I was trying to explain. If you grew up in a home where the mother will kneel down to serve the husband, and as a child, as a male child growing up, the person will just grow up with this expectation that the wife will kneel down to serve him. But that's the mistake that you're making there, because sometimes you might not really get that reality, especially today. People don't really do those things, and so that you don't get offended, you don't get unhappy, is either you talk to her about it, that okay, this is what I expect of you when serving me when we get married, and hear from her. If she said she was going to be doing that, good and fine. That's where you will hold her responsible if she fails.
My brother, let's talk man to man. Today, don't expect the modern woman to kneel down to serve you.
Oh no, you don't give up on the modern woman.
Because even house helps do not kneel down to serve again. So don't try to enslave your wife. If she does that, good and fine. But if she doesn't, there are different forms of respect. As long as she serves you respectfully and with love, please be satisfied.
Exactly. All right, we'll take a pause now and go on a music break. When we return, we'll share more on expectation versus reality in marriage. Okay, what happened? Okay. All right, all right, all right. I didn't even get the singer.
Gonna drill.
Okay, what's the
Count on you.
Oh, okay. All right, welcome back. That was Johnny Drill with Count on You. Well, if you're just tuning in, you've missed so much of what we're talking about today. And this is School of Marriage, by the way, the Friday's edition of the ASO Radio's talk show. We've been laughing and laughing even off air, talking about some of our expectations. We're just discussing with our this year, and we were just exchanging expectations that were not fulfilled, but we just have to live at peace, so that the marriage can work. Sometimes don't make a big deal from some of these things that we expect. Maybe things you see in movie, things you just see them and you desire them and you're not getting them presently. Don't make a big deal. Don't fight over it. Don't stress the marriage because of them. Some of these things you can pray about them. You can gently keep talking and reminding them and just nudging them. And sometimes some may, come up. And if they don't, just enjoy the peace of the marriage.
Yeah, face reality and
Face
live with
reality.
the reality you have, And I just want you to live with the peace, knowing that every marriage is unique.
Yeah.
And they have their own experience. So don't think that you're the only one having unmet expectations. Like my wife said, we were just laughing during the break because of the different expectations, And we'll be mentioning some expectations now.
Yeah.
And you can put in your own on the Facebook page, School of Marriage with Emmanuel and Gloria Oricha. It's a Facebook page. So search for School of Marriage with Emmanuel and Gloria Oricha. There are so many School of Marriage on Facebook, but the unique one is the one having with Emmanuel and Gloria Oricha. Put in what you expected in marriage before you entered marriage and your reality, expectation versus reality, and just as we said off air, at the end of the day, you just have to embrace your reality so that you can enjoy your peace, your peace of mind and your peace in your marriage and enjoy your marriage, just face reality, and just have fun. Laugh at those unmet expectations. And then the ones that can be worked on, don't give up, try working on them.
Yeah. So don't allow what you don't have steal the joy from you for what you have. Yeah. All right. So some common expectation is that some people go with this attitude of, oh, when I get married to this person, he's going to make me whole. He's going to compliment me. Yeah, it's going to make me whole. Some people just feel they are not complete until they have someone, and like, oh, this person is going to make me happy. This person, the truth is that when you go in with such reality, you might be disappointed that you want them to. So this is one common expectation a lot of people have. A lot of people just go into the marriage and they just feel, oh, this person is going to complete me, and they somehow not really go in as a whole person, because marriage, you need to go in as a whole. The other person is also coming in as a whole. The two of you make a perfect whole human being. It makes a whole marriage. So don't go broken thinking that someone else is going to mend you, or go halfway thinking someone else is coming to complete you. So be whole. So that's why for those who are yet to be married, it is the time where you should be building yourself, making yourself a complete human being, whole in the full sense of it, building yourself academically, socially, spiritually, physically, financially, in every area that you can stand as a whole person without even necessarily needing anybody to complete you. by the time you go in with such attitude, you'll find that you will not have struggle complimenting the other person
because you're already
because
a
you're already
resource.
a complete person.
Yeah, and it's a blessing when you get into marriage and your spouse has strengths in your areas of weakness and can complement you in those areas. But it doesn't happen in every marriage where all your weaknesses are your spouse's strengths, you know. So find area of his strength or her strength and appreciate and celebrate them for what they have and what they are bringing into the marriage, and you to present what you have. You know, don't just be a lady and sit down there waiting for a man to come and make your world whole. You know, you can keep working on yourself, and I give shout out to all my friends, female friends, family members who are females who are working on themselves, you know, working academically, working, building their career, building their spiritual lives. You know, I celebrate you. And if you're out there and not even in my social network and you're working on yourself, I celebrate you. Because the mindset of many ladies, you know, we interact with is they just wait for a man to come and make their dream come true. You know, you can keep working on your dream while waiting for the man, so that you go into the man's life as an asset.
Yeah,
you know,
not a liability.
Not a liability. You know, there. I think I saw on one social media that many ladies are looking for. Is it lifesavers now? You know, as husband, you know, burden bearers. That was the word I was used. Burden bearer. You know, they just size a man. Can this man take over my burdens? No, please don't go into marriage thinking that the man will be your ATM, will be your burden bearer,
will solve your family problem, take care of all your family
problems.
needs.
Please wake up to reality and work on yourself and start be responsible, you know, taking care of some responsibilities, so that when he comes, you know, you're already a whole lady, you know, and you have something to contribute into the marriage. And so also the man.
I was going to say that.
Yes, these
that
days
today,
I don't know what's happening to young men. You know, you find so many young men that spend hours just playing games, computer games, and just hoping for a lady that is well made, you know, working in a good place, having good cars, and theirs will just be to lazy around and drive her car, you know. That's a bad mindset. I don't know where it came from. Maybe from some movies which they watch, because there are movies I see that portray the man not really working. He just lazy around in the house, sag his trouser, and be fine boy. Highest he goes to gym and then
meet other ladies.
You know,
and use the girls' money to take other ladies out.
What we see in movies, which we said earlier on, and it's affecting what
the reality
man ought to be. You know, you see young men today not waking up to the reality that they are men. And you know, there is a time in your life that you just have to wake up and say, wait, I'm a man. I have to start preparing for life, you know, and forget depending on daddy and mommy's money or uncle and auntie's money, and just let that thing just click in your head that, man, I have responsibilities. You know, even if you are yet to get into a relationship, have that sense of responsibility. Even starting from your immediate family, from your sisters, from your siblings, start practicing, you know, as a man, you know, the sense of responsibility. I think that's one issue we have today, where we have men without sense of responsibility. You know, they're waiting for women that will come and take over their burdens. I will say no to that, please, and realize that as a man you have to work on yourself and learn to be the man of the house. What does it mean to be the man of the house? It's not just about having six-pack or having a deep voice that makes you the man of the house, or even being violent. You know, we speak against violence, you know, and
showing muscles.
Yes. So currently we are campaigning against gender-based violence, you know, and we say no to violence. That does not make you a man. It makes you less than a man. Any man who violates a lady is less than a man. You know, less than human. It's that bad. That's how I view it. You know, you are inhuman. You are less than a human being. You know, so if you want to be a man, you have to learn what it means to be a man. You know, the skill of or the art of self-control. You know, the skills of generating funds or getting resources to take care of certain needs at home. Do not just be laid back. As a man, as a male figure, don't be laid back. We have many male figures that are laid back. Please don't be. Whatever it takes for you to be the man positively, whatever it takes positively. Please don't go and do negative things and say school of marriage says you should be a man. Please positively think of what you can do with your time, what you can do with the little money you have, what you can do with your skill, your talent that can generate more funds, more resources to take care of your responsibility, so that you can go into marriage as a man and play the role of a man in the marriage, and whatever your wife is bringing in is being supportive.
Yeah, so true. Make efforts, even if what you're trying to do has not yet clicked. Make effort. Just keep making efforts. That's what makes you a real man.
Don't stay at home playing video games.
Yeah, and other things. All right, another thing that another common expectation that people have is that when we get married, things will just work out. We will always agree. There will be no argument. There will be no, people have those expectations. And sometimes it doesn't really work that way. It's not the reality. Sometimes because there are times where you would see things in a different way from your spouse, or your spouse will see things in a different way from you. You have two different opinions about something. So that does not mean and you people are not agreeing on a particular thing. You disagree to agree. Have that on your mind, that it will not always be that, what you say is what is going to be. Things are just going to be exactly how you want it. Apart from even having different opinion and views, life can even happen. Things can happen. What if they don't go exactly the way you expect them to go? Are you going to just up and leave the marriage, or you're going to stay and fight and make sure you come out victorious together as a couple?
Yeah, so part of relationship is disagreements. So don't think that you will never have disagreements in your marriage. Don't go into marriage expecting that everything will just be smooth. Once you say this is white, she will just smile and say, yes, darling, it is white. Or once you say this is black, he will just smile and say, oh, beauty, it is black. There will be time that you will be like, no, this is not white, or no, this is not black. Another expectation people have is that the romance or romantic activity will remain as it was during dating or courtship. Those are acts of love, those gifts, those efforts the man was making to get you.
So you guys were
believe that he just continue after he has scored his goal.
Oh my God!
Well, it will not always happen like that, because many men will do all they can to win the trophy. After winning the trophy is just to celebrate, the victory. And you would think that he will keep playing as hard as he was playing to get you. Yes, I won't be the one that we say that romance should die after you get into marriage. But do not think that some things will continue as they were before you get married. Yes, so you need to talk and keep letting him know that these were the things you were doing that I like, or these were the things you were doing, lady, that I like. Can you do this for me? Or I like this. Keep talking about it, and also play your own parts. If the romance continue and it's burning brighter and brighter, we are happy for that. So
just to add to that, keep working at yourselves. Both of you keep it will not just happen. Now you will make efforts to make them happen. And the last one here says marriage is 50-50. That's what some people's expectation is.
I'll bring my 50,
but
she brings her 50.
But in reality, marriage is actually 100-100. Bring your 100, I'll bring my 100. And that way, we'll have a perfect work together. All right.
So it's at this point we'll have to close the curtain for today. And
but the conversation still continues on Facebook.
The page is School of Marriage with Emmanuel and Gloria Oricha.
Please
write down what your expectations were and the reality you woke up to meet in marriage.
Yes, exactly. All right. Want to say a big thank you to you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. And want to thank our producer, Adams Momo, our supervising producer, CJ, our DCA Tina, the technical crew, and everyone who made sure today's edition turned out a great success. Thank you so much. Let's do it again. Same time, same station. My name is Gloria Oricha.
I'm Emmanuel Oricha. Have a great weekend.